Right then, are you sitting comfortably? Lovely. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever wished you had a crystal ball for your business? A proper one, not one you'd win at the fair. Something that could give you a little peek into what's coming up so you're not always flying by the seat of your pants. Well, that's exactly what we're chatting about today. It's called financial forecasting. It sounds scarier than it is. Not complicated sums or massive spreadsheets that make your head spin. More like a roadmap, a friendly guide for brilliant choices. Think of it like planning a big family holiday. You wouldn't just pack a bag and hope for the best, would you? Of course not. You'd check the weather, book your hotel, figure out how much spending money you'll need, ice cream, souvenirs. Financial forecasting is just that. But for your business's money. It helps you see if you'll have enough cash for the rainy days and enough to splash out when the sun is shining. It takes the guesswork out so you can sleep better at night. So, grab a biscuit and let's get this sorted together, shall we? All right, let's get down to brass tacks. What is this financial forecasting thing when it's at home? In the simplest terms, it's just making an educated guess about your business's financial future. That's it. It's you, looking at what's happened with your money in the past. All your sales, your bills, your costs, and using that information to sketch out what might happen in the future. It's like looking at last year's holiday photos to guess if you'll need sun cream or a brolly for this year's trip to Blackpool. It's not a magic spell that guarantees you'll make a mint, but it is a brilliant guide. This forecast becomes your financial map. It shows you the potential roads your business could take. It highlights where the bumpy bits might be, like a quiet month where cash might be a bit tight. But it also shows the smooth stretches where you might have extra cash to invest. A shiny new bit of kit hiring your first member of staff. Lenders and investors absolutely love a good forecast. It shows them you're not just winging it. You've got a proper plan. It builds trust, and that's worth its weight in gold. Why does it even matter? Running a business without a forecast is a bit like trying to bake a cake without a recipe. You might get lucky and end up with something delicious, or you could end up with a flat, burnt mess and a very messy kitchen. A forecast helps you make much better, more informed choices. Launch that new product now or wait a few months. Can you afford to give your team a pay rise? A good forecast helps you answer these big questions with confidence rather than a hopeful guess and a prayer. It's about taking control of your destiny. Instead of reacting, you start to anticipate. Plan for the quiet seasons, build up a cash cushion for emergencies, spot opportunities for growth before they pop up. It gives you calm and control in a chaotic world. It's not about restricting you. It frees you to make bold moves because you know you've got a solid financial foundation underneath you. It's your secret weapon for turning stress into strategy. Forget the stuffy jargon and intimidating accountants on the telly. This is forecasting for the rest of us. Small business owners, the dreamers, the grafters. It's a tool to turn those ideas into a proper plan. Don't worry if numbers aren't your strong suit. We'll keep it simple, clear, and a bit of fun. The goal isn't to be a maths genius overnight. It's to build a safety net and let you focus on running your fantastic business. Make sure your hard work pays off and you're ready for what comes next. A sudden rush of customers or a quiet spell. It's your business's story, and you're about to write the next exciting chapter. You don't need a degree in advanced mathematics to do this, honestly. There are some dead simple methods that work a treat for most small businesses. Trend, moving average, regression idea. Let's start with the easiest one, the what happened last year method. Its proper name is the trend method. You just look at your past sales data. Did your sales go up by about 5% last year? If nothing massive has changed, it's not silly to guess they might go up by a similar amount this year. It's quick, it's easy, and it gives you a starting point. It's a bit basic mind, but a great place to begin. Next up, we've got something called the moving average. This sounds a bit technical, but it's a doddle, I promise. Take your sales from the last few months, say the last 3, add them all together, then divide by 3. This helps to smooth out any random big jumps or dips you might have had. It's brilliant for businesses that are fairly steady without massive seasonal swings. Ironing out the one-off good or bad months, showing you a clearer, more reliable average to work from. It's like taking the average temperature over a week rather than just one surprisingly sunny day. Finally, there's a slightly cleverer one that's still easy to get your head around. Let's call it the if this then that method, a basic regression idea. This is where you link your sales to something else that drives them. For example, if you run a website, the more people visit your site, the more sales you make. You can find that link. If you know that for every 100 website visitors you get one sale, you can then forecast your sales based on how many visitors you think you can attract. You could do the same with footfall in a shop, or the number of leaflets you hand out. It's about finding your business's magic recipe. Ready to build your very own forecast? Fab. Let's break it down into 5 clear, simple steps. 1. Gather data. 2. Choose method. 3. Build numbers. 4. Test it. 5. Tell the story. Honestly, it's easier than putting together a flat-pack bookcase. First things first, you need to gather your data. Go on a little treasure hunt for your past financial information. Sales figures, costs, like materials or stock. Expenses, rent, expenses, wages, expenses, that all-important tea and biscuit fund. Try to get at least 12 months' worth of data if you can. This is the foundation of your whole forecast, so the better your data, the sturdier your forecast will be. Step 2 is to choose your method and assumptions. Trend method, moving average, link your sales to a driver. Once you've picked, you need to write down your assumptions. For example, I expect sales to grow by 10% because I'm launching a new marketing campaign in May. Or, my rent will increase by 3% in July. Writing them down makes your forecast clear and helps you remember your thinking later on. Step 3 is where the magic happens. You build the numbers. Open up a simple spreadsheet. Google Sheets or Excel are perfect. Create a table with months across the top. Add a row for sales. Add a row for direct costs. Now for step 4, test your plan. A forecast is just a guess, so it's wise to see what happens if your guess is a bit off. This is called scenario planning. Best case, sales 20% higher than expected. Worst case, sales 10% lower. This helps you see how much wiggle room you have. It will show you potential cash crunches in the bad case and how much extra you could invest in the good case. Finally, step 5 is to tell the story. Write a few short sentences explaining your forecast, the main risks, and what you'll do about them. And that's it. You've done it. Let me tell you a quick story about Brenda, who ran a little bakery called Brenda's Buns. She made the most amazing cakes and pastries, but every winter things got really quiet. She worried about paying the rent and her part-time helper. Brilliant at baking, but terrified of the numbers. She was almost ready to pack it in during a frosty January. It was all a bit much. One afternoon over a cuppa, her friend said, "Try a simple forecast." They sat down and looked at last year's sales, month by month. There it was, a big dip. November, December, January, February. But sales spiked at summer fairs and local festivals. Seeing it laid out was a light bulb moment. She finally saw a predictable pattern she could act on. If this helped, give it a like, subscribe, and share it with a fellow grafter. You've got this. Want to go deeper? Check trusted guides and courses linked below. Right then, kettle on, spreadsheet open. Let's forecast your future.